So this is going to serve just for the rest of this month, mainly because I am so swamped with other things that I need to take care of. And, so I apologize. Please forgive me. I know this has not been an easy month for you guys. I feel like there's a lot going on. I feel like the pressure is mounting. That's what it seems like. So when I was shuffling out the spread, I saw two images. One is like the teapot boiling, okay, and the teapot, it has a whistle to it when it boils. So I hear that whistle. It's almost like this vibration, this whistle that is of a really high frequency, and so it's heard by many. And then the second thing that I saw was I see this man. He's I don't know, in the background there are mountains. So he's outdoors. There are a bunch of helium balloons that are kind of like tied together, and they're kind of floating, a little bit higher out of his reach. But they're just kind of floating, a cluster of them. And then there are a bunch of little children, short little kids, just underneath. And then the helium balloons are here, different colors. And he's there with his son. So then his son says, "Oh, I want a balloon." So he puts his son on his shoulders, and his son was able to reach and grab one of the balloons. So his son descends, and, the other kids see this, and they're like, "I want balloons too." So they start swarming the man. They started to, climb up his knees, his legs, his shoulders, and he was trying to fight them off. Well, not really fight them off, but kind of fend them off, or kind of, brush them off. And then he feels bad. So then he puts each one of them on his neck so that they could reach a balloon, one after the other. And when I saw this, I was thinking, why doesn't he just grab the whole bundle of balloons, because they're tied together, and just distribute them one at a time? Why does he have to go through the trouble of placing every single child on his shoulders for them to get their own balloons? So it's a very interesting imagery. So anyways, the thing that really stuck out for me, and especially, corroborated in this spread here, is this idea of getting swarmed, okay? Getting swarmed, getting overwhelmed, feeling like everybody wants a piece of you, okay? But I feel, that concept, everyone wants a piece of me. It feels almost very physical, like very sexual, very physical, but at the same time, it can feel very, very overwhelming, okay? It's almost like you're being pulled in many, many different directions. Everybody needs you. You need to sign this. You need to look over this. You need to come here. You need to take care of this for me. You need to get these things done. So I feel like no matter what capacity you're working in, everyone wants a piece of you. You're being commandeered to go in different directions. You're being called to show up at certain events. You are just pretty much in very, very high demands. And there's just a lot of responsibilities, I feel, imposed upon you. And I also feel like, you are a little bit of a bleeding heart, where people can do things on their own, but I feel almost like you want things to be done right. You want to come to other people's rescue, and you're not one to kind of ignore the call of distress or distress signals that other people are sending out. So I feel like there's this innate sense within you that you want to do things right and you want to help others. But I also feel like, based on the fact that, he doesn't just get a bunch of the balloons all together and distribute them. I feel like there is a smarter way to do things. And whatever your work process involves, maybe there is a way to streamline it. Okay, maybe there's a way to streamline it. Maybe there's a different way from what you're used to that will have a more streamlined results, it could be more effective. So I feel like look at the workflow, look at the processes, look at the procedures, look at the actual physical actions that you're doing, and figure out, maybe there's a different way to do things. Maybe it doesn't have to be, putting every single child on my shoulders so they can grab their own balloons. Maybe I can be the one in charge and distribute, okay? So the energy of taking command of a situation is coming in really very strongly. And what you have here is the Emperor. This is the voice of authority, the person that is kind of like the pillar of stability and strength in a situation. And he makes decisions not from the heart space, or he can't be emotionally swayed. This is somebody who exhibits the energy of, a person in power, a person that is highly regarded, well respected, looked up upon. But at the same time, I feel like, there's a rigidity here. There is it's almost like, when we make decisions and we don't think from the heart, or we don't use our heart and we rely solely on logic and reason, it can isolate a lot of people. Okay, so this is kind of like that warning call. But I do feel in general that there is somebody pleading, can you do this? Can you do that? And I feel like, there is this exterior. This isn't the exterior. So let me show you this. Somebody pleading, please turn around, please help, please listen to what I have to say, please look at me, okay? And the Emperor chooses to turn away, to not respond, to focus on whatever it is that he feels he needs to focus on, which is the Ten of Pentacles, stability, home life. Kind of like that greater good is what I'm sensing. Okay, so it's not somebody that can be swayed by emotion. So I don't know if you're dealing with somebody in this situation. You are this person that's being pleaded with, but I feel like you're not moving. You're not being swayed with that emotional argument. And I feel like while this is the facade, this is what's going on underneath. Okay, this is a sense of like time is running out. There's that hourglass. Time is running out. I'm not getting any younger. I need to build a legacy for myself. I need to preserve something that is solid and secure and completely will stand the test of time. I need to build kind of like a monument. Okay, time is running out. And while he's very, very secure on the surface when dealing with others, he feels like this deep inside. Okay, this is an older man. He's aging. He is very well aware of his sense of mortality, and so I feel like there's a huge element here about time is ticking, about conflict as well. Opposition, conflict, feeling like everybody is out to get me, feeling like everyone wants a piece of me, feeling like this is a stalemate where it's a perpetual conflict and everyone is kind of fighting. It's like getting swarmed by that mob of children. They're climbing up your legs, they're climbing on your shoulders. And it's feeling overwhelmed. And I also feel like overwhelmed by other people's expectations of you. Everyone wants a balloon. Everyone wants to get ahead, to climb up. And I saw like a bunch of children, like just a bunch of them. So probably over 100 of them. They're just little, surrounding this man. And so it kind of begs to the question as well, why is he in this valley? There are mountains in the background. He has his child, and then there are a bunch of other children. Where are their parents? What's happening? So I feel like it could be a situation where whoever is tallest, whoever is biggest, whoever has like the most amount of physical strength or physical capability gets to lead. Okay. And usually that might not be, it might be someone who's physically strong, but in terms of like that voice of morality or that moral authority figure, I don't know if that's a good gauge. Okay. I don't know if physical capability is a good gauge for leadership. So that's what I'm feeling here. What I'm also feeling as well, that whole concept about the pot is boiling or everyone wants a piece of me. it just seems like everything is done for like it's sort of like bells and whistles, distractions. Everything is bells and whistles. It's all just a facade. It's all done to project or portray a specific type of an image, while behind the scenes things are not what they seem. Okay, and I feel like that's what it just feels like to me. So stepping away from that imagery and that interpretation, there is something else that I'm feeling here. Maybe this might apply to more people. I'm feeling here about, people wanting to protect their families. Okay. This is a father figure here, King of Wands, looking at the Four of Wands, his wife, his family, his children. He is keeping watch. He's not sleeping. He's keeping watch. He's looking over his children. So there is a very strong concept of protecting what is mine. Okay, taking care of my children first, taking care of my family members first. Everyone else can wait. I am going to take care of what's mine, and then if I have energy left over, or if I have resources, then I'm going to give it to everybody else. So it's almost like taking care of number one, but I feel like it's taking care of people that are close to us, people that are vulnerable, and especially people that we have emotional linkages to. So I feel like that's where this is coming into the picture. If you're dealing with another person, especially a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, this is somebody that is willing to, they're bold, they're brave, they speak their truth, they speak from the heart, and they're not afraid to fight for the things that they believe in, okay? They're not afraid to, take the first strike. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty to protect what's theirs. So there is a huge, immense energy of I want to protect what's mine. Okay, so once again, it's that whole concept about I want one, I want a balloon, I want everyone wants a piece of me. So I feel like the energy for this week, it's really about gauging people's motives, gauging what's really driving another actor to behave a certain way, gauging what's really driving a person to take a specific stance. And especially, I almost feel this concept, it's like, when we're faced with an ally, the most dangerous or the most cutthroat allies might be the ones that don't have a lot to lose. So I feel like this reading is a little bit complicated, okay? And there are a lot of ideas kind of thrown about here. There's ideas about generosity and selfishness. There are ideas here as well about, ideological beliefs and what motivates or what drives a person, and needing, I feel like for you Geminis, needing to understand what is their motivation so that I can co-opt them, okay? So that I can make a persuasive argument, which is something you're very good at, and then I can bring them to my side, okay? And then the third message here is definitely about this concept of aging, realizing our mortality, realizing that time is running out, realizing as well that it's a situation, and especially if you've been in a conflictual situation with another person, it's almost like somebody wanting to go to come back into the fold, somebody wanting to make amends, somebody possibly begging and pleading for forgiveness, or even for like, hey, come back in, let's work this out, let's negotiate, let's put aside this conflict, this silliness, because it doesn't really have a resolution, or it doesn't really lead to anything. But I also feel like deep down somebody wants to come into the fold, or to be invited back in, but they are portraying an image of someone who's very stubborn, who's like, oh, I don't need you, who's who's turning their back. So they feel one way, but their outright actions and demeanor indicates a different way. indicates otherwise. So while they want to compromise, while they're feeling vulnerable and exposed, and they feel like, I need to make amends because time is running out, their outward demeanor doesn't show any of that. And so it's a very bipolar type of a reading, honestly, because I feel like there are a lot of ideas and concepts that are working kind of like in opposition to one another. And so I just feel like, you're being torn in different directions. You have a lot of demands that are imposed upon you. You're dealing with people who might be very, very self-serving as well, and they all want a piece of you. And you're just like, tell me something I don't know, Don't talk about your experiences personally. Talk to me about these greater, bigger themes, how these actions are going to benefit, everybody as a whole. So I feel like you're looking for bigger, broader concepts. You're looking to, with this Emperor energy, it's almost like, he makes decisions for the greater good. He cannot be swayed by individual sob stories. Okay, he makes decision from a place where he feels like it's for the greater good. But at the same time, there were a lot of people, a lot of little children, all wanting the balloon, and they swarm the man, they climb on him, and there's just this free for all kind of scramble that you're just like, no, it's not going to work. If that's what it leads to, that's just organized chaos. There has to be a better way to do things. And I feel like you might be wanting to arrive at a different way to do things. It's not completely the best optimal way yet, but for you, it's a manageable solution. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling here. Let me see. We have here fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, and we have a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. If you have a water sign in your environment, okay, this is somebody that you potentially could have a lot of financial entanglements with. This is somebody that knows you in and out, okay? So they know the facade that you put out into the world, and they also know the vulnerabilities that you hide within. They see all the things that are kind of like hidden underneath the veneer, underneath the clothes, underneath everything that you try to hide, okay? But this energy is somebody who's very pure, who's very loving, who's very forgiving. And so I don't feel like, they're going to use the information against you, even though they're privy to a lot of information. And especially they're privy to, your nakedness and your vulnerabilities. If this is a relationship partner, I feel like this is somebody that sees a lot more than they let on, okay? This is somebody that is very tolerant of your flaws. They're tolerant of everybody's flaws, okay? And they're very observant, they're very intuitive, they are very aware that everyone has their fears, their deepest, darkest fears. I feel like this is somebody that sees through the facade. They see, whatever image you put on, they see everything behind the scenes. They see the self-doubt, they see the paranoia, they see the whole concept of, I'm very aware of that you're worried about your mortality, okay? And they never make fun of you, they never poke fun at it, they never let on that they know, and they would never use all this sacred information against you. They would never use the sacred information against you. So if this is a relationship partner, it's somebody who's very, very, very beautiful. Okay, very trustworthy, very beautiful. And it's somebody that, you can have a really long-lasting friendship, future relationship, or whatever you want with this person. I have here a fire sign. This is somebody that is very, I feel, they fight on an ideological level, okay? So they fight for the things that they believe in. And I also feel like there's a huge concept here about Gemini stepping into that role where you're morphing from an air sign into more like a fire sign, where you fight for your beliefs, where you stand your ground, where you advocate for some type of a truth that you feel is universal truth or is your truth. Fighting to protect the people that you believe in, and fighting to protect the things that you believe in, and fighting for the people, especially your loved ones, family, and so forth, that you care about. So there's huge energy here about upping the ante, taking things another step up, and really, really defending what we believe in, but also vocalizing what it is that we are believing in. And, once again, working hard or finding a smarter way to do things rather than a more labor-intensive, time-consuming way to do things, okay? So grab those balloons, distribute them individually to each child, rather than letting each child climb on your shoulders, because your back will start to give out. There is a smarter way to do things. It doesn't have to be so arduous. It doesn't have to be that painful. And it doesn't have to be that conflictual. Okay. Let me see here. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that is coming through. Give me just a moment. I'm seeing like this white banner. It's a cloth banner, and it's kind of like flapping in the wind. You know how when there's like a military engagement, right? Like a military, like a battle, a war or battle, and people, raise that white flag as a sign of submission. We don't want to fight anymore. We forfeit. It looks like that. But then the banner is a lot longer. It's like this white banner just flapping in the wind. And what I feel is it's almost like this Five of Swords energy. The Five of Swords. It's like victory at what cause? Okay? Like at what cost? Victory at what cost? Okay, somebody walking away from a conflict, and the other person, it's like, yes, you win, you win this battle, but at what cost to other people? At what cost to your own dignity? At what cost to your own image is what I'm sensing.